I mean, you guys are messing with.
Without further ado, I'll turn it over to Coach.
Good. Man, it was, I try to tell the team these wins are hard to come by, and we are so greedy and selfish, and we want it to be perfect, and that's just who we are as coaches. And I was proud of the way they battled. It wasn't perfect, man, but they battled and they responded. And, if we, as I challenge them, if we don't beat Notre Dame, man, we're a really good football team. And there was times in the first half, a couple times in the second half, penalties cost us. And if you look at the drives that didn't end well, there was a lot of self-inflicted wounds. Now, that is not to take anything from Central Michigan. I told Coach McElwain after the game, he's got a really good football team that's going to win a lot of games in the MAC. And so I'm proud of the way our guys battled for 4 quarters. Proud of the way they really tuned out the distractions and focused on this week and this game and took care of business. And so with that, I'll open up for questions.
We will start down in front on your right with John Bryce.
Hey, Marcus, you played linebacker, so I'm wondering what's the cumulative effect of trying to tackle a guy like Audric Estime, especially for the full course of a game, and what does that do to energize your team, and maybe what do you think it does to dispirit the other team?
Well, I mean, trust me, it's not a lot of fun tackling a guy like that. Those hits take a toll on you as a player, I'm sure, as a defender. But the success we can have running the ball with Audric, with any of those running backs, again, when you can run the ball and have success running the ball, you truly open up your pass game. And so that's always been a strong belief of mine, is that the ability to run the ball will help us in the pass game, and that's what you saw today. You referenced the penalties. You encountered a little more adversity today with no Mitchell Evans, no J.D. Bertrand, no D.J. Brown, Rubio still out. What did you maybe learn more about your team today as it encountered some new? Yeah, we got to continue to develop. I mean, this is the greatest team sport in the world, and you don't know what's going to happen. You don't control what circumstances come your way. And we had some guys out, some key leaders that we have to continue to develop, those guys that are the second, the twos, and the threes, right? And so I thought they stepped up and did a good job. We have to continuously improve, right? And that's going to be something I always say. We have to continuously improve. To go back and watch the film, we'll see where those areas of improvement truly are at. But we can't have those penalties, man. We can't have them. That's not to our standard, especially the uncharacteristic, too rough in the pass. There's a couple holding penalties on offense, defensive PI. I think about those penalties, and great football teams don't beat themselves. And we're fortunate that we can learn from that and still have a good victory.
We'll stay in the front row on your left, Jack Sobel.
Marcus, I'll ask the injury question today. What's going on with Mitchell Evans? And then I don't think we saw D.J. Brown today. Is everything okay with him?
Yeah, Mitch ended up having a concussion. He was in concussion protocol, so that's why he was out. And DJ, he got a tight hamstring a couple days, 2 days ago, and we just didn't think he was going to be able to be 100%, so we decided to hold him.
And then, 2 touchdowns, 75 yards or more. You talked about the run game opening up the pass game. What does that deep ball success do to open up the rest of the offense?
Yeah, the ability to execute on those deep balls and those open passes are huge. They're huge to having success. I think 578 yards on offense, man. That's a credit to success in the pass game and the run game. And so it's a great job by the entire offensive staff and the players.
Front row on your right, Eric Hansen.
Hey, Coach. You got asked about a lot of offensive line and pass rush questions this week. I'm wondering how you thought those 2 phases of the game played for you today.
I'm trying to look. 578 yards on offense. We end up having, 342 passing and 236 rushing. So in order to have those type of numbers, your offensive line has to play well. If they don't play well in the pass game or the run game, your stats aren't going to look like that. And so, I don't love the 2 holding calls, and we got to be better there. I didn't really get a chance to see them on replay, but the guys in the headphones said, yeah, they're holding. And so we can't hurt, we can't hurt Notre Dame, and holding penalties hurt us. But for us to have that success as an offense, the O-line played really well. Defensively, D-line, we were rolling a lot of guys, and I thought they did a good job getting some pressure on the quarterback, making him uncomfortable early. We'll go back and see the film, but that's kind of what sticks out in my mind.
And then you've learned a lot about your team in the first 4 games. What's still out there maybe that you haven't learned about your team?
shoot, it's to be determined. You put a lot of work in to win these games, to give your team a chance, right? I still don't know if we've seen the full potential of this team, right? And that's my challenge. My challenge to them was we got to get better this week. And the same thing as we go to next week. We'll see, man. We got a great opponent coming in here, and you know, the challenge will be to not worry about Saturday. That's going to be the challenge. I can already tell them right now. Don't worry about Saturday. Saturday will be here. But worrying about Saturday does not help you really prepare for Saturday, right? Continue to win the moments, win the day, stay in the moment. You study your opponent, but you got to win these moments. That's going to help you on Saturday. So I don't know that perfect answer. What is it still to learn about our team? We'll see. We're going to play a heck of an opponent next Saturday. So we'll see how good this football team really is.
Front row on your left, Tyler Horka.
Marcus, kind of going off of that, 3 plays of 20-plus yards for Central Michigan. Curious how you would assess where the defense is at, especially going into a game against Ohio State, who's got all those playmakers.
I know 2 of the plays. One was missed tackles. We did not tackle well in those first couple series. And then, you know, it was a little bit – the first series we were 3-0. And then the next series that they scored a touchdown, we had to, first of all, kick the ball off out of bounds, roughing the passer, and just missed tackles. And so we can't miss tackles. The one long pass in the second half, we're blitzing 6 guys, and we didn't get pressure, right? And so I can't get mad at the DBs. If we're bringing 6 guys, man, we have to get pressure. And so we kind of challenge those guys that if we're going to blitz you, let's get pressure so the DBs don't have to cover for longer than the amount of time we need them to.
Obviously can't go a press conference without asking about Sam Hartman. He just continues to light it up. Going into that Ohio State game, you have to think that he's playing as well as he possibly can. And what does that do for a team when you've got a quarterback playing like that?
Yeah. The beautiful thing about this is that I don't know if Sam's going to come in here and interview him, but he'll tell you he's got to be better, right? He made some mistakes today that he can improve on. And, you know, the thing I think about this game for Sam is that the moment won't be too big. He's played a lot of football games. I don't know how many, but he's played a lot of football games. And so I think his mind will be in a great spot, and he knows he has to go out there and execute, go out there and do his job. And so he won't let the things that don't matter to have a success affect him. Some young guys that have never been in this situation, sometimes you can let that stuff that has nothing to do with winning the game affect your preparation, affect your execution out there. And so I don't think that will be something that Sam will let bother him.
Back row, middle right, Omar Jimenez.
Coach, how would you describe the explosiveness by the defensive line on the first contact? And is there anything in particular you would like to watch on this film?
Yeah, I think they're an explosive D-line. You know, we got some really good players up front. I think we got really a good difference of talent, right? Some guys are big bull rush guys. Some guys are more athletic. And, you know, the mix of talent that we have on that D-line, I think is really a really good mix. What was your second part?
Is there anything in particular you would like to watch on this week's film?
Everything and every play. There's something to fix on every single play. I can promise you that.
Back to your left, second row, Mike Bernardino.
Marcus, the moment where Sam took that shot as he was releasing the ball, he looked a little gimpy initially, and he got over to you. What was the conversation like on the sideline? What goes through your mind when you see that?
Yeah, you protect your player. You care about your player. And I'm the first thing I said, hey, what happened? You okay? First, are you okay? And he said, yeah, man. He kind of turned my knee or, you know, kind of rolled my leg. And, you know, and I just kind of mentioned to the refs, hey, protect our quarterback a little bit, you know. And I care about Sam, but also want to make sure we protect him too. And he's a trooper. I asked him over the headset, hey, how's Sam? And he said he's fine. And so you want to protect every member of your team, and you don't like to see anybody limping off the field.
And then you mentioned penalties several times, but can you call this team a disciplined team at this point if the penalties have been piling up like that?
Yeah, I think we're a disciplined team. We have to continue to get better, continue to make sure that, you know, they're an aggressive team, right? Are they disciplined? Absolutely, but they're aggressive. And sometimes you have aggressive penalties, right? And so I want to look at those two roughing the passers and say, okay, was that an aggressive penalty or was that a selfish penalty, right? And I don't know until I go back and watch the film, but what I won't do is keep them on leash. Like, you got to let these guys be aggressive. Like, when I tell them to come out of the locker room, it's not, hey, don't make a mistake. It's not don't get a penalty. It's you go attack. And we're trying to win the interval 5 seconds, and you go as hard as you can. And sometimes you have penalties. Do I like to see penalties? Absolutely not. But it's not a discipline issue. It's an execution and fundamental issue that we have to continue to improve. So I look at this, coaching. If it's a fundamental issue, we got to coach better, right? Holding is coaching. We got to coach it better. And so I take accountability for that, not our players.
Our last question for Coach will be back row on your right, Matt Lucas.
Yeah, Coach. I know we talked earlier this week about Bertie Manuel and his athleticism that he brings to the team, but he didn't play today. So did that change the game plan? Did you guys know about it early?
We knew about it right before the game. I talked to Coach McElwain right before the game, and he said that he was out. He didn't make the trip. I think he was ill. Did it truly change our game plan? No, but we had to go back and kind of watch a little bit of what the backup did. And the game plan stayed. It's too late to truly change the game plan. But, I thought they did a good job. The quarterback did a good job of staying in there and throwing the ball well. And so, as I told our guys, defensively, our keys to victory in that game was attack the quarterback. No matter who's at quarterback, it's not attack Emmanuel, it's attack whoever's at quarterback, keep him contained, and really be good on our pre-snap communication, because we didn't have some of our seniors and our captains and our vocal leaders out there. And I thought they did a pretty good job for the most part.
And this halftime lead of 7 points, what changed into that second half? What did you guys do to change that up? 23 second half.
Yeah, I told them at halftime, like, if you need me to give you a rah-rah speech, that's not what this team needed. This team needed to settle down and really look at the mistakes that happened the first half and why it was a 7-point game. And so our mindset has to continue to execute. One play, one life, right? And what do I need to do to make sure I'm executing? That's what I told them. Go out there. Don't beat Notre Dame. Don't beat Notre Dame, and we're going to be just fine. And for the most part, that's what they did.
Okay, thank
All
you
right,
very
guys.
much, Coach.
Thank you.